Why, hello there, everyone. It's late Monday night and it's Ken and Katrina. Hey, Katrina.
Hi.
How's it going? All right, we're going to talk about baseball today. We didn't talk all for most of the day. Actually, we didn't talk after I did the whole video about my guaranteed winning picks of the season, as we're going to be doing picks where I'm going to show 7 picks every day in general. So not going to win today on that really quick because some things lost. Hockey game, I believe, lost. I haven't checked in, but Colorado was losing 6-2 last I checked when I was watching the game with my son. And at the end of the second period, so I'm pretty sure Colorado lost. And we had a couple losing baseball games. Yeah, Colorado did lose 6-2. It looks like. Chicago Cubs lost and Toronto lost. And anyway, so what's interesting is that those games that lost, there were some cues to stay away, especially from the Cubs game in the video that I talked about, the algorithm because of pitching. But you, I guess, watched a little video and you did your own betting, and you said you're having a better day than I did.
Yeah.
So what did you bet?
Yeah.
What did you bet, Miss Smarty Pants?
I bet. So the first things, I had some kind of like parlays that was preset by one of the apps I use, and that helped a lot with generating a larger winning for those 3 games, and they happened to win all those 3 games.
So what were those games? What exactly did you bet?
I had Boston, Atlanta, and the Yankees.
Okay, and in the algorithms view of the games, those are all winners, and they're 3 of the top 6 teams. Angels game's still in progress. It's actually 2-2 right now. But yeah, it was Angels first, then Boston, Mets, San Diego, Yankees, and Atlanta. And the San Diego game, I believe, is also still going on. Double check that. Yeah, San Diego's in the bottom of the 6th, up 4-1, so that's not over yet. All right, so you had that 3-team parlay of Boston, the Yankees, and Atlanta. That's great. What else did you have?
Let's see. I had I did the team over for Boston. It was 4.5.
Oh,
so
great! Yeah, they hit 5, right? Yeah, awesome.
I don't really bet too much though. Like it's kind of like when something went like I should have bet more. But yeah, but then I just have like a bunch of other parlays that are doing. It looks like they would do well. It's only the Angels would catch up and win. And
do the Angels have to get more than 5 runs, or do the Angels just have to win?
I put up to win.
Okay, so you need them to win, and they are 2-2 right now at the end of the 6th. The algorithm says that even with Chris Bubich's last year stats, and I assume he's out of the game, that Kansas City's bullpen has an ERA of 5, and the Angels only has an ERA of 3.8. And this means that the Angels bullpen is supposed to outpitch the Kansas City bullpen, and hitters being equal, the Angels should pull this game out at home, given that it's tied 2-2 in the 6th. So hopefully you get your money on the right side of that game, which it looks like you probably do. And we'll root that in. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They had another parlay for. I didn't really. I don't know what it is, but I did. I think it was the line was lower for this one, but they had the Angels, Padres, Milwaukee, which was switched around in your algorithm. It was you had Milwaukee losing in your algorithm, which was really the bottom margin. So like this had kind of a chance, and it did end up the Brewers winning.
Yes, yeah, it was extremely. It was supposed to be a low scoring game. I missed that game on my personal round robin because I took St. Louis plus 1.5. That's one where the algorithm kind of did an okay job because it said that's going to be a low scoring game that St. Louis could pull out, but they didn't pull it out. And Milwaukee being a home team and good pitching ends up winning a low scoring game. However, St. Louis doesn't even get one, so they don't cover +1.5, and that hurts because really I needed them to get a run. But hey, that's just a normal thing that'll happen is you get it really close, but you don't get it exact, and it doesn't. I'm still okay, but that's a super low scoring game. We predicted 2 runs for Milwaukee, and they hit 2 runs. Just didn't get 3 for St. Louis. So that's where somebody bets the under and follows that. I think that was the lowest scoring predicted game of the day, just short of the New York Yankee Tampa Bay game, which it predicted to be a lower scoring game. Also that it predicts almost exactly. That's amazing. It predicted 3-2, the Yankees win 4-2. They scored 2 runs on the top of the 9th too. So that is very, very close to what the actual score was. A lot of these are close. It's funny, the Pittsburgh Cubs game, because of the crazy weird pitching matchup, it was obvious to not play this game because of how bad the Cubs pitcher had played in his first 9 innings in the pros. And sure enough, he gets rocked. He got rocked for like 7 runs. So it was, I don't know why I said take the Cubs and just wasn't really paying attention. I was looking at his AAA stats. It is a stay away game. And I talked about it a little in the video, but I should have. I'm so good at giving advice and not taking it. I just have this, I want to I want to prove it right by watching myself lose sometimes. I've noticed that about my picks. But anyway, yeah, obvious looking at the stats and move the game. I mean, I'm looking at the win-loss for all the teams. If the Angels win, it wins the top 6 games today and loses the bottom 3. And, the Cubs game was weird, but loses St. Louis by 2 runs, loses Toronto by 1 run, and Toronto actually gets down to the bottom. So it's a fairly predictable day. And every game over 10% margin would win if the Angels win. That's something else I talk about. So you could go on 6-0. So basically, my round robin bet is a poor choice today, and it shows some mistakes that I made. One, picking too many games. I haven't hit 8 games in 2 years. It's the last time I hit 8, and it was a basketball Sweet 16 part of the March Madness 2 years ago. It's like the year after COVID. They ran that. The year after that, yeah, it was 2021. Actually, sorry, it was like 14 months ago or something like that. It was March of last year. So that's the last time I hit 8. I've hit 7 numerous times since then, many, many times. Now, so there were too many games. There was a hockey game on here. There was a Cubs game that should not have been on here. And Toronto, I think I was still going to pick and lose and miss the Mets in the morning. So there could have been 6 in one day, really, if the Angels get to 5 or win the game, depending on how you played that. So we'll do better tomorrow. We'll learn from this tomorrow. We'll make 7 better picks tomorrow. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just wondering, because you made this parlay, you picked your teams, and then you talked about the Chicago. Why not to choose Chicago while you were talking about it?
Yeah, I was like, I shouldn't have done this. And that's because I had actually made my bet already. So I should have pulled them off in the video. You're right. Maybe if you had been there doing the video with me, we would have done that. We would have said, hey, I just said don't play this. So that means don't play it. I do that a lot when I'm talking. I'm like, oh, the algorithm's saying this, and then I throw it on there anyway. But that's a good lesson to learn, that when you have question marks, especially about an important part of the game like the pitcher, you need to not play the game. That's the lesson. Is you want to go where all the signs are pointing in the right direction and there's no conflicting information that's not confirming what you're trying to bet. Wow, there's a lot of games tomorrow. 15 games tomorrow. I'm importing tomorrow's games right now. So that I can give people a little look at the end of this video, and then I'll post the final picks tomorrow at whatever time. We'll see what time the games start here in a second. So what we're doing now is we're bringing in Tuesday's 15 game prediction. Chichi Gonzalez, pitching from Milwaukee. Why aren't you in here, Chichi? Because your name is spelled differently. We're gonna find out in a second. So I'm just getting ready for tomorrow here real quick. Do it as fast as I can. Some lines will be in here, some lines won't. And sorry, it's tomorrow.
I had some kind of thing. I had one of the parlays, that was like the top three of your top three percentage margins there, the top three game. And I only did the twos because I don't know, I tend to be kind of, just in case one of them loses, like they're the top three, right? But
you should be conservative. If the lower the round robin parlay combination you bet, like twos instead of betting threes or fours or whatever, the more likely you're going to receive a payout. So if you really are concerned about losing your entire bet for the day, you should bet twos instead of fours, fives, or threes, four. Yeah, exactly. That's a good strategy. Don't always have to shoot for the moon. I like to shoot for the moon just because I don't know, that's the way I like it.
Well, sure, yeah, but like I'm not gonna bet too much on it because like one team that you predict to be doing really well is supposed to do really well. It's like they can do bad, which
sure, totally. Any team can lose. It's that's why it's so difficult to hit 8. I haven't hit 7. I've only hit 7. I have not hit 8 in a long time. All right, what is Chichi Gonzalez's situation? He's not showing up as having pitching stats this year. Let's find out why. He is here, but he's now playing for Minnesota. That's what's happening. He is not on Milwaukee. He's now on Milwaukee. So he was traded. So we are going to fix, he's now on Milwaukee, right? Is that what happened? And, or Minnesota, what's going on here? No, he's on Milwaukee. And then what do we have to do here? We have to refresh. Trying to figure out why his situation is screwing stuff up. So he got traded to Milwaukee. I'm just going to double check that on here just to make sure, because that's the only issue we're having right now. I'm trying to, yeah, okay. It looks like he got traded to Milwaukee. So that means that I think we're fixed. And lineup factors work. Yep. So here's the predictions for tomorrow. And I'm not going to name the 17 round robin yet because we're going to wait till more confirmed lineups. But for those who care, we're going to take a quick look in order and see what works. So I don't have to worry about a video in the morning. So, yeah, I know, but we'll be able to roll through the video. I just want to show everybody a quick look. It's Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox, Braves, Seattle, Angels, San Diego, Toronto, Chicago. There's 4 underdogs on here already. Cubs, Phillies, Colorado Rockies, and the Mets over Houston. But the stuff's all going to get updated and changed. And Daniel Castrano's only got 10 innings for Miami. Anthony DeSclafani's only got 13 innings this year. Really wow for San Francisco. We got Jack Flaherty with 3 innings and Chichi Gonzalez with his only 7 innings. So there's a lot of pitching matchups that need to be reviewed. It looks like there's going to be 1 million runs in the St. Louis Milwaukee game. The ERAs of the 2 pitchers add up to 13. But they've only got limited innings. So Jack Flaherty was a good pitcher last year, as noted as I'm changing this in the file. Yeah, that changes the score of this game. And then you'd have to change Chichi Gonzalez's 2021 stats also to Milwaukee if he played that year. Sorry, I'm doing a little something else right now. Yeah, Chichi in his 2021, we got to change this to Milwaukee. And let's see what that does. That lowers this game to a 6-2 game that St. Louis wins. So anyway, you'll see in the video we'll watch it later. St. Louis is supposed to win that game. There's no line on it yet. All right. So that's the update. Katrina did better than me, but she's smarter. Right? It's okay. We learned some lessons. We learned to stay away from that Cubs game. We learned to not throw a hockey game on a big round robin pick unless you expect to lose it half the time because it's hockey. And we'll get back at it tomorrow with 7 picks. All right, guys?
Why did you win? Why did you choose Colorado? I was you bet against Tampa Bay, our team.
Because Colorado was crushing it so hard that I was like, this is a team that looks like they're going to sweep, and they just. Even though a lot of that is because they're at home in Colorado and the thin air, it makes them play better at home. So I should have thought about that more. But when I see a team playing that well, I just want to ride that. And I don't know, I just thought they were that much better, and they had Tampa Bay on their heels. And so what happened tonight, because I watched the first 2 periods of the game, was the Colorado goalie got some bad bounces and some weird goals that a better goalie would have saved. And Vasilevsky for Tampa Bay was looking very good. So even though Colorado put up a couple goals on the power play, trying to make it close, they couldn't stop these just bounces going in, and Tampa Bay had the energy tonight. So it was kind of obvious by the second period that Tampa Bay was going to win the game. And so it just missed. The hockey's a game of bounces, though. I say that all the time. It really is. And tonight was not a good night for the Avalanche goaltender, and the bounces didn't go their way, and they were on the road. And there you go. So, but I'm okay with hockey being like that. I mean, the MLB algorithm and the college basketball algorithm, the NFL algorithm, they're different animals with different types of games. And hockey is just always been a game that's very, very difficult to predict accurately. And it's just not like the other sports. So, yeah.
I did that. I saw that it was 6-2 third inning, or not inning, sorry, period.
Yeah.
It's and then I bet the under like 9.5.
Yep.
So I was like, well, everybody's already leading
Yep.
by 4.
Nobody's going to pull the goalie unless Colorado got 1 goal back, and Tampa Bay is going to go into defensive shell because they just have to not let 4 goals in the third period. And you were apparently right on. No more goals. Yeah.
There was still like 13 minutes like when I did that, but I figured.
No, not bad logic there. For a lot of reasons. Yeah, live betting, you pay attention to that kind of stuff, you can do good things live betting. But one thing that I was talking about in the video today is I want to avoid live betting. The whole point of coming up with this big round robin pick is so that, I was enjoying watching the game with my kid, kind of talking strategy and kind of explaining to him why I predicted that the Colorado was going to get scored on and that their goalie was going to get pulled on the 5th goal because I saw what was happening in the game, and then it did exactly that. And I said, all right, now I go, if Colorado doesn't score the next goal, now they're down 5-2 and they pulled their goalie, I go, it's all over. And sure enough, there was a bad bounce and it went right to the other team, and Tampa got a 6th goal. And I was like, well, that's the end of this game. And so, like, it's just, I wanted to just enjoy and not live bet everything all the time. Like, I hate looking down at my phone and live betting when I just want to let this go, make the bet. If it had been a situation where all these games had won and I was relying on Colorado to make a big payout or something, instead of $1,000, that game could have essentially had I'm looking at it on the screen right now, could have had a $900 swing, basically 1,029 to 151, an $875 swing if this game was close and I was fighting for it at the end and it was the only one I hadn't lost. So at that point it would have been a different feeling, but because all these other games had already lost, it kind of makes it easy. It's like the night is kind of over early. You don't have to worry about it, rather than try to chase losses or make more bets or worry about, like, it's become too much when I've tried to do it, and I'm not enjoying the game or watching games as much. I'm just like constantly watching lines, and it is unhealthy. I didn't like it. So I like doing this. And my best memories of betting, or remember when we made that bet in Vegas, that like $200 bet with those 8 picks, or I did a round robin with like 8 teams or 7 teams, and it turned that 200 into like $2,800. That was one bet. That was one bet on a bunch of games, and we just sat back and watched them. And I find that to be the most enjoyable way to do this. And
wasn't it like 4,000 or something that you made?
No, it's 2,800. I believe
Oh.
that paid 2,900. Yeah, it was a $205 bet and it paid 2,900. And I believe it was either 8 or 7 teams. If it was 8, then we would have hit 8. I think it was only 7. I have pictures of that ticket, and we have the video about that. I'll double check what that was. I'd be surprised if it was 8 because I think I would have remembered it being 8 because I never hit 8. I think it was 7. Yeah, makes sense. It was 7. But yeah, that's when it's the most enjoyable. That's the way I like to do this. It's just it's supposed to be fun.
You're paying attention too much with the lines, to the line. So I think like it's just kind of like you think about the game. It's like, oh well, according to the algorithm, which is how you direct me to live bet. You're not saying, hey, this is a like it's obviously it's only going to go one way or the other, right? It's like, oh, it's a better line. So
yeah, I mean,
I don't
looking at what the algorithm was providing based on it today, like if you were live betting today, so a couple things would have been obvious, like Tampa Bay going down. I'm sorry, Toronto going down 8-2 to the White Sox in like the 5th inning would have said bet Toronto plus 4.5 runs or whatever they were offering you because it was supposed to be a closer game and Toronto has some offense. And sure enough, they came back and got to 7. So stuff like that. When San Francisco tied up Atlanta, and they had guys on in the top of the 9th, but hadn't scored yet, you could have bet Atlanta because Atlanta was supposed to win that game at a pretty good margin, and it was still tied. The Yankees got tied at one point. Keep betting the Yankees because they're doing so well. And the algorithm had them the 5th pick of the day. Boston, I don't think was ever down. I think they were up the entire game. The Cubs we knew were going to be an issue because of the pitching matchup. And the Angels were down 2-0 at one point, and now it's 2-2. So when they were down 2-0, you should have bet them to win early on. What are they doing?
Yeah.
What are they doing right now? I'm trying to look what
It's 2-3.
are they losing or are they winning?
Yeah, I think they're losing.
Yes, in the end of the 7th. So they had all right, we got to root them home. Root them home.
Let's go.
Let's go, late Angels. We'll see if that bullpen of Kansas City, which is not supposed to hold up, holds up. All right. So, all right. Well, that's the update. We'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow with 7 picks tomorrow. And we can tell that that's probably going to involve some of these teams that are up on this list. There's 5 teams of Yankees, Dodgers, Boston, Atlanta, Seattle that are over 10% margin already tonight. So those are probably going to be part of the picks tomorrow. We'll see, unless stuff switches around.
Okay.
All right. So let's root for the Angels and we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Cool. That's it. May all your picks be winning.